In this video, we're going to be looking at New Zealand and why New Zealand might be the best country in the world. Not really with the purpose to determine which country is the best, because I don't believe that there's just one best country in the world. But as you maybe have seen or may not have seen, I have been learning more about Australia and Canada. And I've been wondering about New Zealand too, and I don't know that much about New Zealand at all yet. So I was like, why don't we just look at a video of New Zealand? So let's just go ahead and see and learn more about New Zealand.
I personally don't think I've ever heard a bad word spoken about New Zealand. Sometimes regarded as being one of the most beautiful countries in the world, this isolated nation is a very desirable place to visit, live and retire. I was lucky enough to travel there in 2020. But then something called COVID-19 decided to pop up and ruin all of my plans. So in this video, we've got 15 reasons why we think New Zealand is the best country in the world. Because my name is Sam, and you're watching the Geography Bible. Alright, so let's kick off this video with number 15. Its natural beauty. New Zealand is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful, picturesque countries in the world. From Mount Cook to Milford Sound to Hobbiton.
When you see things like this, or at least when I see things like this, I'm like, I almost can't believe it's real. I almost believe or could believe it's just AI generated. But it's not. But that's how beautiful it is. Just look at this. It just makes me want to sit back and just take this in. It's just, I can feel the peace just by looking at this.
New Zealand is a very mountainous, rugged country, so it offers some of the most stunning, picturesque views you will see on Earth. With it being a relatively narrow island, you are also never too far away from the ocean. Number 14. Its climate. New Zealand has a largely temperate climate. While the far north has subtropical weather during summer, inland alpine areas of the South Island can be as cold as -10 degrees Celsius in winter. Most of the country lies close to the coast, which means mild temperatures, moderate rainfall, and abundant sunshine. Pretty much the perfect climate. Not too hot, but not too cold.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think I've realized that I like mild weather in general too. Just from the places that I've been so far. I'm in Southeast Asia right now, and I'm from the Netherlands, and before just having been to Southeast Asia, I always thought, wow, wouldn't it be so nice to live in a place where you basically have the same good weather all year round? Like LA, for example, where it's mostly sunny and a little bit warm. But now, having experienced that, I'm like, I think I actually like having seasons. And at least if I wouldn't have seasons, then for it to be mild weather. So not too hot, preferably sunny. And so anyways, yeah, that sounds like really good weather to me. Well, at least I don't know if you have 4 seasons in New Zealand, but it seems like at least it gets cold there too. So yeah, I don't know. Are there 4 seasons? Let me know in the comments. I don't think he's mentioned it.
Apart from earthquakes and the odd cyclone, New Zealand does not experience much life-threatening extreme weather. Number 13. Its low population and density. At just 5.1 million, New Zealand is a very small country. What's more, around a third of New Zealand lives in its biggest city, Auckland. To put this in perspective, there are about 75 cities in the world that are more populated than the entirety of New Zealand.
Wait, I have to go back now.
In its biggest city, Auckland. To put this in perspective, there are about 75 cities in the world that are more populated than the entirety of New Zealand. New Zealand has a population density of around 18 people per kilometre squared, making it one of the least densely populated countries in the world. This low population and density means less congestion, less traffic, and a general chilled vibe, which of course isn't everyone's cup of tea,
But it is mine. This sounds nice.
as some people do prefer the hustle and bustle of big cities. Number 12. It's
Yeah. I think in my core, that's not really me. The whole busy city life. Maybe for like a certain season of my life, I could maybe see it. But ultimately, I would love to settle down in a more quiet, peaceful area with a lot of nature around. I think that's more at my core what I desire.
history and culture. Even though New Zealand is a relatively new country in terms of the year that it was discovered, it is packed full of
The Dutch. The first European to arrive in New Zealand was the Dutch explorer. Sorry, why is the Netherlands everywhere? Or Dutch people? Like, every time I watch something, it's just mentioned. I don't know what it is. It's so weird. Because I think I mentioned, but I'm from the Netherlands. It's so weird that it just pops up again. The first European was Dutch. Did not know that. The name New Zealand comes from the Dutch New Zealand. The name first given to us by a Dutch mapmaker.
history. New Zealanders take huge pride in their culture, and the Maori people, along with their traditions, are well respected.
So we even have a connection, you and me, if you're from New Zealand and you're watching this.
Maori were the first to arrive in New Zealand, journeying in canoes from Hawaii about 1,000 years ago. A Dutchman, Abel Tasman, was the first European to sight the country, but it was the British who made New Zealand part of their empire. You'll find amazing Maori historic sites across New Zealand, as well as beautiful colonial era buildings dotted throughout the country. Number 11. Hobbiton and Lord of the Rings. Regardless if you are a Lord of the Rings fan or not,
Wait. Did it take place there? Because I was gonna say from those earlier shots that he showed, I was like, it kind of looks Hobbit-like. Because, yeah, I've had to watch those movies. I say I've had to. Like, my dad made me watch those with him. I don't know if they're necessarily my thing, but I watched them. And, yeah, I was like, that looks like, yeah, if The Hobbit would take place there, I would not question it. I would believe that. Wow, that's wild if it is shot there.
the Hobbit set and the surrounding rolling hills are absolutely stunning. It was one of my childhood dreams to visit Hobbiton, and finally in 2020 I got to visit, and I wasn't disappointed. It was the most beautiful day, not a
Wait, does it actually exist though? Because when I think of The Hobbit, I do think of this site. And wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that was an actual real place. Yeah, that's so cute.
cloud in the sky and 20 degrees Celsius weather. The movie set is New Zealand's third largest tourist attraction, attracting approximately 17% of international visitors, and estimated to bring in around $78 million to the area annually. Take this with a pinch of salt, but I was told during my tour that the director of Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, receives 50% of all of the revenue, meaning he earns a cool $39 million or so.
What? That would be crazy if he would earn. If that was real, if he would really earn 50% of all that revenue. Like, that's. You made a smart move then. If forever he gets that. Well, until he dies, I guess. But
Every year. Number 10. It's isolation. New Zealand's isolation from the rest of the world does have economic drawbacks. For example, when I was there, I noticed the price of some groceries is astronomical compared to what it is
Let's see. Milk. Okay. Yeah, if I just look at these percentages, that's kind of crazy. Lettuce, 177% more. Maybe it somewhat cancels out with the amount of money people make, but I don't know.
In the UK and Europe. Quite simply, if New Zealand does not grow a certain produce, it may have to import it from a place that is tens of thousands of kilometers away. Its isolation, however, does work in its favour politically. Apart from Australia, who is like its older big brother, New Zealand doesn't really have any neighbours. And any neighbours it does have, like Fiji, are not world superpowers. Compare this to the likes of India, who have the nuclear superpowers of Russia, China, and Pakistan on their doorstep. Number 9. Its beaches. When you think of New Zealand, you usually think of huge, picturesque mountain ranges and rolling green hills. But what most people don't realise is that New Zealand has some of the world's most pristine and beautiful beaches.
I have seen the beaches before on like pictures, and I was like, this is stunning.
New Zealand is actually home to 90 Mile Beach. However, the name is actually completely wrong. It's actually only 55 miles. Still, an incredible distance. With New Zealand being such a small country population-wise, you'll often find completely deserted beaches that you can have all to yourself. Number 8. Most livable cities. In 2021, 2 of the top 10 most livable cities on Earth were in New Zealand. Wellington, which came in 4th place, and Auckland, which ranked as the most livable city on Earth. To be a country of this size and feature 2 of your cities in the top 10 is an almighty achievement. Being a livable city pretty much means that it is a nice place to live. Low crime, clean environment, and job opportunities are usually the main factors.
It does seem really clean. Now, I don't know about the city because he hasn't really shown that. City streets or anything, but overall, I get this really clean vibe.
To contribute to a livable city. It must be noted, however, that when the 2021 rankings were released, New Zealand at the time was one of the only countries to pretty much stomp out COVID-19, meaning its citizens lived a mostly lockdown-free life. Now, of course, since then, things have changed. Number 7. Low corruption. New Zealand is one of the least corrupt nations on Earth. In fact, it usually battles Denmark and other Nordic countries for the top rankings in the world. In 2021, New Zealand ranked as the equal least corrupt country in the world, alongside Finland and Denmark. As mentioned earlier, New Zealand doesn't really have any enemies, and because it isn't a nuclear power, has a relatively small economy and population, it rarely finds itself getting involved with foreign affairs. Number 6.
That's nice, living the drama of pre-life.
Relatively small country that offers everything. Although New Zealand is rather remote and small, it offers a wide variety of activities that it has. Number 6. A relatively small country that offers everything. Although New Zealand is rather remote and small, it offers a...
No, yeah, that is a lot bigger still than the Netherlands. I wanted to see what it would be in comparison. The Netherlands is so small.
Wide variety of activities that its residents and tourists love. From gorgeous beaches and surfing to skiing, whale watching, mountain climbing and wine tasting. As mentioned earlier, this country offers a range of different climates and landscapes, so you don't actually ever have to leave the country as most things are already on your doorstep. Number 5. Queenstown. Often described as the adventure capital of the world, not only does it offer activities for thrill seekers such as skiing, bungee jumping and skydiving.
Yeah, now that's something that you will never find me do. Not voluntarily, at least. I am not hanging off a rope. I'm way too much of like a risk-averse person for that. That seems like a death sentence waiting to happen.
Skydiving, it is also one of the coolest and most beautiful looking cities in the world. Queenstown sits on the shore of Lake Wakatipu, among dramatic alpine ranges. a popular holiday and backpacking spot for any time of the year. Queenstown is renowned for its 4 distinctive seasons: winter.
So he's answering my question from earlier. So it does have 4 seasons here, at least in Queenstown. Spring, between 8 and 22 degrees Celsius. Okay. Also, spring is September to November. Okay. Summer, December to February. That's so crazy to think about. That it's just reversed like that. The seasons. So summer is between 20 and 30. Honestly, that's perfect. Like, I don't need much more. I don't want it to be that much hotter. March to May, between 5 and 25. That's autumn. That's nice. Winter, -4 and 8. This seems nice to me. Yeah.
Brings crisp blue sky days with snow perfect for skiing. Spring retains the snow but blooms into longer, warmer days. Summer offers sunshine and long twilights, and autumn a burst of brilliant red, orange and gold. Number 4. Its social purpose. New Zealand ranks 3rd in the world when it comes to social purpose. Now, what exactly is social purpose? Well, it's the country's attitude and actions towards a variety of social attributes, such as animal rights, human rights, the environment, commitments to climate change, gender and racial equality, and many more. For this reason, New Zealand is a very progressive, healthy place to live. Now, of course, this doesn't mean it's perfect, but ranking 3rd in the world means it is one of the best countries in the world for its social purpose performance. Number 3. Its road trips. New Zealand is a country built for epic road trips. I can personally
I can imagine.
vouch for this, as I did a road trip through the country in 2020. Unfortunately, a global pandemic decided to pop up, which ended up ruining most of my plans. Low amounts of traffic outside the major cities, alongside some of the most breathtaking views you will ever see, results in an absolutely stunning road trip adventure. Being an isolated country with low population means there is less light pollution too, so the night sky makes things even more epic.
Like, already when I went to like the northern province in the Netherlands, I could already tell that the sky was so much less polluted, and you could see so many stars, so many more stars than in the south of the Netherlands, where I'm from. So I can only imagine what it would look like there. Just how magical that would be.
To drive from the North Island to the South Island, you must take a 3-hour ferry from the capital Wellington across to Picton, which is a little pricey, but admittedly it is extremely fun. You can sip on a glass of wine as you float past the incredible fjords. Number 2. Its chilled, laid-back vibe. Its isolation, low levels of corruption and crime, low population and density, alongside a society that is friendly, open-minded and welcoming, means that New Zealand is an extremely safe, chilled place to live, work and study. If you're looking for a busy city or country with a booming economy and that hustle and bustle vibe, then New Zealand probably isn't your best bet. You might be better off living in a big city in Australia. And finally, number 1, the best country to survive a global collapse. New Zealand is often voted as being one of, if not the best country in the world to survive a global collapse in society. Its rapid response to the pandemic and ability to completely seal itself off from the rest of the world has reassured its citizens that if a society was to collapse, let's say an even deadlier pandemic or a nuclear holocaust, then New Zealand would be a safe place to be. Again,
Yeah, I can imagine. Because it's so isolated, it also makes it easier to keep things out, because people can't just go over the border.
with its isolation and political stability, there are very few countries that pose a threat to New Zealand. If a nuclear war was to break out, there is a very slim chance that New Zealand would be targeted. Its mountainous, rugged terrain, alongside being an island, would also pretty much make a land invasion impossible to win. Now, of course, New Zealand isn't perfect. It does have many issues of its own. For one, the country is tucked away in the corner of the world. It's a country that does require some planning to visit, and flights aren't cheap there. Round trips from the US or Europe are almost always over $1,000, and the journey takes over 23 hours. And even when you arrive, the country itself is far from being budget friendly. It is one of the most expensive countries in the world to travel.
Wait, rent prices are only lower than in the UK. Huh.
From being budget friendly. It is one of the most expensive.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense if it's less densely populated.
Expensive countries in the world to travel and live in. So what are your thoughts on New Zealand? Would you live there? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, my thoughts are, it looks like a very beautiful country, peaceful, like he said. I can just feel the serenity coming through the screen. And I mean, yeah, like he said, I don't think there's any perfect country, but from this list, I feel like New Zealand comes pretty close.